You know, this is some super interesting black metal. True black metal album covers are just black and white. Oh yeah? What about these ones? That's death metal. Oh, hi there. My name's Jorge. I grew up in the 80s and I used to love getting into trouble. I have always been a friend of felines. I take my faith very seriously, attending school at a Christian college, and I've been a music fan my entire life, only recently finding out I really like extreme metal, and I want to invite you to journey with me on my discovery of extreme metal. What is up, folks? Welcome back to A Christian Collects Death Metal. It's your pal Jorge here, back at you with another video. Thanks for stopping by. Once again, welcome back. My friends, today we will be discussing the newest offering from Goatowarex as it relates to Endless Dismal Moan. Came out a few months ago, actually. It's a compilation of sorts. We'll get into all that, plus more. Without further ado, let's go. The mastermind behind Endless Dismal Moan, you don't need me to tell you. Chaos 9. He started this one-person black metal project back in 2001. He would later go on to enlist the help of a second person, Lydian VI, for the third full-length album. So there's a total of 4 demos, 3 full lengths: Lord of Nightmare, Ruin, Curse of the Underground. And yeah, like I said, Lydian VI came on for the third album. It's themes of nightmares, hallucinations. I think the name of the band, the project, says it all, really. It's incredibly dismal. You know, we'll discuss the music in a little bit, but as far as the product goes, this is a compilation of Demo 2 and Chaos 2, as well as some other material. This is a double LP. I don't know if I mentioned that before or not. Comes in a pretty gatefold. As you can see here, you got the OB strip. Not a big fan of the OB strip. Behind it, in memory of Chaos 9, tragically passed in 2008, I believe. And then we have Lydian VI right here. This is the only album I have. If Dani had not released this, I wouldn't have anything. I discovered Endless Dismal Moan maybe a year and a half ago. I'm only 3 years in, approaching 4 into my extreme metal journey, and I remember running into like a deep dive or a documentary of sorts on this specific guy, this band, and I remember being intrigued and thought, yeah, I like the way it sounded, I like the music, I like the whole use of electronics against this dismal black metal backdrop. It was just super interesting to me. Went over to Discogs, eBay, looked up some albums, and was quickly made aware that this is a band that is cherished by everybody, and everything has long been sold out. And so, yeah, I kind of just filed it in the back of my mind and left it at that. And then recently, a couple months ago, Dani Li over at Goatowarex released this compilation. He's actually the producer of this. It's actually listed on the back right here. I don't know if you can see that or not. Produced by Dani Li. This is essentially a remastering of some of this older demo material, as well as some live stuff. So on side A, you have, I'll just read it to you. This is a self-titled demo from 2001, when the band began. So you have 6 tracks, almost 20 minutes in length. The first song being Devil, which is a very raw, I mean, you think of raw black metal, that's the one right there that will put you in the mind of raw black metal for sure. As far as Chaos 1 through 5, the production is slightly, probably more than slightly, it's a big upgrade. These 4 tracks almost make the first one pale in comparison, in my humble opinion. So on side B, this is where things get really interesting, because as you could see, everything here is untitled. This is unreleased material up until this point. So, and I'll just read this here. Obviously, you could see for yourselves. This session was planned to be a collaborative recording with Minato Oida. Sorry for the mispronunciation. But this remains unfinished by Minato due to the untimely death of Chaos 9. These tracks are music recorded solely by Chaos 9 without Minato's contribution. So it's almost 20 minutes as well. What this basically is, for those if you haven't heard it, it's basically drone type atmospheric stuff. That's about the best way I can explain it. There's no guitars or crazy, black metal. It's just some atmospheric drone stuff. Nonetheless, it is very interesting. And this was, if I'm reading this right, this was the last bit of stuff Chaos 9 was working on before his passing. Disc 2, Side C, and, also D. This is live material from a couple shows that he did. I assume by himself at the time. I'm really not sure. A lot of great stuff. This is a really good listen. I'm especially fond of Bloody Claws. You wouldn't expect the bass to be as present as it is on some of this early black metal stuff. But yeah, it really comes through, especially in this lo-fi production. It's really strange. But over here, you almost have an identical replica of this, except for some stuff moved around and the addition of Lazora. I think that's how you say that. My final thoughts are this. Lydian VI right here. If you're a fan of black metal, raw black metal, endless Dismal Moan fan, this is something you probably don't want to pass up on. It's such an interesting take on black metal with the heavy use of electronics. It's very atmospheric. It's almost hypnotic. Just listening to this stuff. I had a lot of fun. I've listened to it probably 6 or 7 times since I've had it. I know this stuff, this is the only thing I have from these guys. I wish I had some of the previous stuff, but that stuff, like I said, it fetches a few dollars. But actually, there are a few copies of this left. I'll leave a link in the description if you're interested. If you're in the States or Canada, that's the only 2 places he ships at this moment. This distro, Metal Curations, he has, 5 copies. I'll throw up a screenshot. $58. People are asking $150 for this on eBay and Discogs. He's got a couple copies left. That's where I got mine. He carries a lot of Goatowarex stuff and a bunch of other stuff as well, too. Trust me on this. Check it out. You'll find something cool over there. I'm absolutely sure. But I'm super impressed by what Dani put together here, him and Lydian. Yeah, I did not expect the side B drone atmospheric stuff at all. I was expecting more of what we're used to, this electronica sort of black metal stuff. So it was a pleasant surprise, a little bit of a breather from just the screeching, scratchy onslaught, that this black metal project offers. Guys, there you have it. Let me know in the comments exactly what you think. Let me know, are you a fan of these guys? I know that Chaos 9, rest in peace, no longer around. But are you a fan of this material? Let me know in the comments. Curious to hear what you have to say. Jorge, a Christian who collects death metal, signing off. Be blessed.